Hey guys, so Johnny FD has given up all pretenses and is now 100% completely shilling for the Ukrainian regime. He's creating full-time propaganda for them. That's all his channel has become. And he's being driven around, North Korean style in a van and taken to places to have a look at them. And I'm going to tell you the difference between what he's doing right now and the videos I put out. And the major difference is that while he's showing anti-Russian propaganda as displayed by the Ukrainians, I tend to show Ukrainian videos of Ukrainians themselves putting out videos like this guy right here, and showing you the war crimes that they themselves inadvertently or proudly expose. So like this guy here, he's a Ukrainian serving in Ukraine. You can check out his TikTok channel yourself, that's his name there. And here is a video of the soldiers in the kindergarten playing around. And there are many videos like this. So as you can see, those are footages of Ukrainians themselves putting out of them playing around in the school, in kindergartens and things like this. Whereas the one Johnny puts out, it may also be true, and I would question if either Russians set up here or they bombed it. It's either one of the two. So either Russians had their base here and it was bombed by Ukrainians, or Ukrainians had their base set up here and it was bombed by Russians. Or it could be totally staged, but who knows. But the thing is, you don't know, because this is propaganda presented by Ukrainians against Russia. And if we're gonna go that route, I have so many pictures and videos like this one here, things like this. Like this shows supposedly Ukrainian soldiers riding around on the bus, but you can't confirm this because this comes from a Russian source, and it's really hard to tell exactly if this is accurate or not. And then there's just like tons and upon tons, like this picture here of a school bus that was supposedly ridden around by Ukrainian soldiers. But of course, Russians can just fake this. Like, it's not that hard to put a sign. So I don't expect people to take these ones as 100% proof. But when the Ukrainians themselves expose the war crimes, I think you should take it as 100% proof. So here it is, another video by Johnny FD, where he inadvertently exposes more war crimes. And I couldn't believe this. And I don't know if people are actually... Can people realize this, or do people not care anymore? Are they using this justification, well, it's all Russia's fault at the end? Let's have a look at it first. I don't know what people's excuses are for war crimes, by the way. So let's see.
Well, that's what it looked like before.
So he's showing them attacking a troop transport, and let's hear what he says. So this is obviously, a Russian transport that was taking injured soldiers away, and let's see what he says.
We're gonna see it afterwards.
Саня, одевать треба это якось.
Okay.
They took over this machine. There were some injured Russians inside,
Wow.
so they just killed them, to make sure.
Okay, to make sure. Tell him, I've always wanted to pee on a tank. Is it okay?
So he just admitted there were injured Russians, guys who were conscripted, regardless of what you think of the Russian government. I'm just asking for a bit of decency. Like, these people were conscripted, most likely young guys. They were probably happy they got injured, that they were getting out of this war and going home. And this guy comes along, who Johnny FD is riding around with and trying to pal up to, and shaking, giving him a pat on the back and being friendly with him. This guy is a war criminal. He goes in and he murders all of those people there, all of the injured soldiers. And I think maybe people, Ukrainians confuse what they do, which is riding around in ambulances, with what Russians do, because I haven't seen any evidence of Russians transporting active troops in ambulances. But he's, again, from a neutral, inadvertently showing Ukrainians transporting troops in medical vehicles. So Ukrainians do this. This is another war crime, by the way. But this is from a neutral source. This is from a pro-Ukrainian source. This isn't from a Russian source. That's the difference. All of the propaganda that Johnny FD is currently presenting comes from the Ukrainian sources. And again, I can show you tons and tons upon videos, interviews of citizens talking about the crimes the Ukrainian government has committed, but then you can never be sure if they are staged, if they've been flown in or paid off or threatened or who knows what else by the Russians. So I don't play those videos because they aren't they can't be confirmed. But I can. There's hundreds of them now. But I can confirm what the Ukrainians do. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is that Bankrupt, he has been arrested in Kazakhstan, I believe. And what's interesting about that is I believe that he is actually making his way to eastern Ukraine. Now, he's been in western Ukraine. He's gone as far to the border of where the line of conflict was in one of his previous videos. And now what I believe he's doing is, I think he was making his way, he's gone through Syria and he's making his way up, and I think he wants to go into eastern Ukraine and make a report there because he likes doing these kinds of things. He likes going to places that are quite dangerous, and what place is considered more dangerous now than eastern Ukraine, the occupied part of Russia. And I think this is actually a good thing because I believe he will definitely make more of a balanced view than Johnny FD ever would, because I don't think Johnny FD could ever make a balanced review now. He is either so brainwashed or is so committed because of the real estate that he has in Kiev, and just because he's like a known person now. This is a very dangerous game he's playing, by the way. So he cannot report anything balanced anymore. He just is not able to, because he's going to get a very harsh sort of reality check if he begins to do anything that's balanced, if he does anything that's critical of the Ukrainian regime from now on. So as far as I'm concerned, he's just become a complete propaganda piece. And if you want to keep watching that, you can, but that's literally all he is. Riding around with war criminals, so I don't know how people can watch this guy after this, but to each his own. I guess some people like it, but fair enough. I was a fan of his as well, and not anymore. Now I just watch him to see what other war crimes he's going to expose. But I think that Bold could actually have show a balanced, realistic point of view of what's happening there. And I'm just as curious as everyone else is. I'm interested in what the truth is. I want to see him going around talking to citizens there and getting their story from them. If they do the same thing to him, I hope the Russian government, if the Russian government is really honest about, wanting Western media there and giving Western media free reign, then I'd love to see that. I want to see him do that. So I don't want to see him being driven around everywhere like Johnny FD is, and showing places in a very controlled environment. I want to see Bold actually go there and talk to people and just walk around and go wherever he wants to go, pretty much, within reason, I guess, because there'll be some security measures I guess they'll have to take. But in the civilian areas, I think he should go around Donbass, and Mariupol possibly, which will be really cool. Like the video he put out with Syria to try to humanize the situation there is excellent. That's the kind of stuff I really enjoy seeing from him. So I've got way more respect currently for him than Johnny FD, but we'll see how this turns out. And it'll be an interesting contrast between him and Johnny FD, because they are buddies and friends, and they've made lots of videos together, as you can see. So it's going to be very interesting to see the point of view of Bold and Bankrupt when he, I believe, eventually does reach the east of Ukraine. So that contrast is going to be interesting. Oh, okay. So that's the video I wanted to make. That's what I wanted to show you. I've been having, again, lots of different interesting conversations with people, and there are definitely a lot of things on my mind that I want to talk about. Lots of videos I want to share with you. How the Ukrainian government has, I believe, ultimately was now under the control, but previously they had little control of the fighters, the Azov battalion, or these extremist groups. I think now they're being led by them, to be honest. So, and I wanted to answer this question about how everything's Russia's fault because they invaded Ukraine, and how people ignored the 8 previous years of civil war in Ukraine that was caused by a coup that was orchestrated by the United States, and that's a fact. So all I'll say is, if you're gonna argue for that, at least like go off the facts, the full facts, and not just this nonsense idea of either racism and ethnicity, or some fantasy that Putin wants to take over the whole world, or Russians want to take over the whole world. And that's all I'll say for now. I want to make a full video on it and hopefully do justice. Thanks guys for sticking around, and all the best.